shadow on the wall that looks like a man. Lord, that lamp just moved on that stand. I got movement in the cellars, I got footsteps in the hall. There's no time to waste, I better make some calls. I gotta get ready, make everything right, 'cause all my rowdy friends are ghost hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team, let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mine. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are ghost hunting tonight. This old house has a long history. It should be real good for activity. And we got the house wired for sound and got motion alarms setting all around. Got a box full of batteries ready to go, and everyone's itching to start this show. Got our logo tees, driving black SUVs, and that one bald guy with a slick goatee. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mine. Well, there's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are ghost hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is your big brother Mike calling. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are ghost hunting tonight. That's right. Go get 'em, boys.
And welcome everybody to PEMA TV.
Welcome to January 11th, 2013. This month is already halfway over.
It's just, they pick up speed, I swear they do.
Yep.
Want to thank everybody for coming to join us tonight. Once again, please stalk us. Please use the social media buttons down there below the chat room. Come keep up with everything going on. We do have a whole lot going on. If you click on the festivals tab, you can go read about, find about, buy your tickets, get your sponsor tickets and vendor tables bought for the Lower Catskills Paracon.
There are all kinds of speakers. There are all kinds of people still calling, even the spots are filled, still wanting to be speakers. All kinds of craziness going on with that.
Yeah, you guys are going to, please go check it out. Just right off the top of my head, I know we have Mr. John Tenney. We've got David Roundtree, Tracy Ray,
Patty Zakis,
yes,
Mary Gasparo, Betty Comerford, and Steve Wilson.
Yeah.
And Athena Veronis and Deborah Weinecker.
Very good. You passed your quiz.
I've typed it enough this week. I didn't know exactly who's
I was
where.
fixing to say you really should have known that by now.
And as of a few minutes ago, I think Robin Marie accepted a table. She's not going to be a speaker, but she will be attending.
Yeah, you guys, please check it out. We are doing some different stuff. It'll be standard con fare. The speakers are taking a rotation.
But some of the speakers are doing something completely different.
Or this will be the first time this year that they're doing it. So,
well, this will be the first time some of them are doing it ever.
Yeah, yeah.
But Athena Veronis, she was a former FBI, the only female in her department, and she was called in to help mentor Jodie Foster for the role in Silence of the Lambs. Nobody's heard from her yet.
Yep. And she is quite the character.
And our own little Mary Gasparo, who just got her first book published.
She's a published author. Yes, she is.
So there is all kinds of craziness going on.
More to come. More announcements to come. So stay tight. But tonight on PEMA TV, we are extremely excited to welcome two members of Darklands Paranormal. Mr. Marco Santucci and Scott Ault. And did I butcher anybody's name?
No.
That's why I let him do it, so if it got butchered, it was his fault.
How are you guys doing out there?
Very well.
Excellent.
Is the weather treating you guys okay out there? We were talking about this a little bit before we went on, but weather okay out there?
Yeah, we're having a very cold spell right now.
Cold for California.
Yeah, I saw that. You're actually colder there than we are here, which is really odd.
And weird.
Yeah.
I blame Al Gore.
Exactly, yes. That's got to be the problem.
Well, it's a mixture. It's Al Gore and Scott Grunwald.
Well,
Yeah.
can you guys can you guys let our viewers know Darklands Paranormal? When did you guys get started? You know, what are you up to?
You want to take it or what?
No, go for it.
All right. He wants me to talk. Okay. It's been about 2 years is all the time that it's been. We actually met where we work, which is the Home Depot, like anybody cares. But, yeah. He found out I wrote a book about the paranormal, and then we got to talking. We were involved with another group for a very short period of time. That got crazy. Paradrama, women involved. It was a bad thing. And we just broke away from them and just formed ourselves. And we found out that together, him and I together capture with both audio and photography, capture more than anybody else we know, like all the time. So it works really well for us.
Yeah, that's something Kim and I have figured out too. We tend to get better with just the two of us. We tend to get better evidence that way. And it's all about the energy. I think it's all about the energy you put out, you know?
Well, and
It is.
I think at times it's also easier because if there's only two of you, you know where the two of you are.
That's very true. You don't have to worry about as much contamination because you know who was there and where they were at.
You don't have to go back and go, okay, were you upstairs or, you know, did you say this or did you do that? You know who did what.
Yeah, we like to keep it small. No matter what, it just works out better that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Marco, I know we'd met you. So we talked about this a little before the show too. We'd met you several years ago, right before your book had come out, and we'll talk about that in detail here in a minute. But I wanted to know from Scott, what was your aha moment, Scott? What was your moment when you figured out that you had to research more into this, you had to know more about what was going on?
Well, it started when I was a young child, about 5. I was actually tormented by spirits in the house I lived in, and they would pull the blankets off my bed at night when I was sleeping, yank on my toes, scream in my ear, and it got to a point where I got so upset with it that I started to chase them, and then as a teenager, got a camera and found out that I could actually get pictures of them. So I was doing things on my own for about 20 years till I ran into Marco and found out I can get audio to go with my pictures.
Yep.
Pretty much covers it, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In our experience, we haven't had much luck, audio or video or pictures. Most of our stuff's been audio.
Actually, any of the good video, I've been with Mary.
Yeah, that's true too. But a lot of we have some EVPs that, you know, I know how the skeptics are, and it's a CB overpowering your digital recorder. It's this, it's that, it's 9 million other things. I've got some stuff I can't explain. And
I've got thousands of things, and that's ridiculous for somebody to even suggest that. I mean, especially if it correlates with what you're doing. I mean, what they knew what you were doing when that happened, and you got that audio with, you know, that's just people just not wanting to believe, you know, that it can be done, I guess.
Well, you know, and that's when you get into the whole conversation about, you know, you'll never make a true skeptic believe, and you'll never make a true believer skeptic. You know? Yeah,
that's true. But I don't know. We've done it a couple of times, and it's just based people going into our website and seeing the stuff that we capture. I mean, all the time, both audio and photography. You know, and every now and again, someone will challenge, you know, a photo, but it's really rare. So we're lucky, at least right now, that people believe that our integrity is there and that, you know, we're not going to fake anything or what have you. So far, so good.
Well, you know, I'm also the opinion now that there's a huge crowd some of the tourists are starting to fall off, so to speak, in the paranormal. And there's a
Right.
whole group of people that you don't have to convince that there's something else out there. They're starting to ask the tougher questions like how, why,
Yeah.
Exactly.
you
Right.
know. And I'm really glad that we're kind of part of that. We don't get to investigate as much as we did because of relocating here recently and my health the year before, but you know, we'll get back out there.
I still do.
Oh, yeah.
We leave him at home.
So to catch our viewers up a little bit, Marco, how did your book come up to happen?
After my mother's death, because I again, like me as a child as well, they were around me. I knew they were there. I would hear them talking, whatever. But I kind of put it all in the back burner for years and years until my mother had passed away, and she actually was with me, or I met with her somewhere in the middle, and then that was my first experience with, if you want to call it out of body experience or whatever that was. That's what happened. And so after that had happened, I wanted to, I just started digging, started reading a lot, and decided that I wanted to find out what really life and death, because death, it's not black and white like we're taught. A lot of people are taught, especially if you've been into any kind of religion. So I just took 8 months time of research daily, recorded daily. I was lucky enough to work in a store, a huge retail store that I was allowed to film overnight or let the camera run with nobody in the store. And it just was a landslide from there. I mean, after I got evidence, actually on video, which we all know is more rare than pictures, then I just started with the audio, and it was just nonstop. And it just went from there, and, you know, I had a ghost come home with me back then, and it's just it never ends. And it just seems like the more time that goes on, the more the EVPs are just constantly, you know, I don't even put up anything that we consider Class A, maybe Class. And it took me a long time to get to that point to throw stuff out. But there's a lot of stuff I don't keep that's EVPs because they're just not good enough. So, and then, like I said, and that's pretty much it. And the book's out there if anybody wants it, you know. So later when we get famous, then everybody will buy it. But, you know, right now, maybe a couple hundred people, I don't know, maybe more than that. But I'm not making a lot of money off it right now, put it that way.
I should also say that, you know, the longer that we do this, the more that they're actually trying to tell us about the other side for EVPs now.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just incredible. It becomes so incredible. But like you guys had said, it's about the energy of the people that are trying to communicate with them. And luckily enough, Scott and I have a lot of energy that they're attracted to, and we believe too that that's exactly why we get so much stuff. I mean, when you guys get a chance or whatever, you go into our website. My God, there's not only pictures, but place we just did. It's called, what do we call it? Well, I haven't changed the name. It's called.
We can call it what it is now.
Well, yeah, it's a feed store, but it says Haunted Upland or something like that. But there's an album, you know, for the photos, and then there's a separate audio. It says Haunted Upland, whatever, EVPs. And just amazing stuff that had come out of that place. And in fact, when we were there, and there's a couple of EVPs in there, but I have the full, you know, of course I'm not going to get rid of the whole piece of audio, but the ghost, the spirit was calling us on the phone. And we have never, ever experienced anything like that before. Business phone,
not a cell phone.
Yeah, it was a business phone. They were calling from inside the building. And it was very amazing. And unfortunately, they're closing the place down, but it will be another business again. And it's not about the business, of course. It's about the building. Right. Or the property. But, and it's, you know, and for everyone that investigates, you know, when you have personal experiences, you can't, I mean, I do have some on audio, that's cool, for that one. But, you know, you can't, unless you experience it yourself, you can't really, you know, say much for that if you don't experience it. But that was pretty amazing. It was pretty weird. I mean, I'm talking. Why don't you guys go ahead? So
we don't want to take over your
I'm
show.
sorry. I don't want to take up the whole. Yeah.
Well, our show's about you, so talk away.
Talk away. Yeah, well, that's what it's about.
Okay. Yeah. No, but just that. Like I said, I mean, if you go and you listen, you know, like I said, people, and I have a SoundCloud, you know, so there's, you know, I have all my, you know, all the best stuff is up on SoundCloud outside of our website. you can go in and listen to stuff. But I mean, if I didn't know better, of course I'd say, come on, that's got to be a person. I mean, there's just so much stuff. But out of this particular building, I mean, we've learned that it's the age. Well, what happened is initially what used to be there burned to the ground back in the early 1900s, and we're finding that there's, it has been built back up, but just for whatever reason, and there, I don't know if it was because of fire or what, but they want to communicate. We were there again last week, and I actually saw with my eyes, for the first time since I was a child, a shadow walk by. It's like 20 feet away from me, and I was like, oh, wait, okay, hold it. And I have all that on. It's pretty funny when I listen back to the whole thing, because I'm like, I was trying to come up with a reason for it, but anyway, he was communicating to me while he was doing that. They're super intelligent, knocking on the floor from upstairs when we ask them to, and I don't know, just amazing place, but we know that. Go ahead.
Isn't that the secret though? Is the interaction?
It is, and they just know that
it's almost like a game.
Yeah. Well, there's a little girl in that particular place, and she likes to play games, but that's that, and this place could probably be another gold mine. The owner's, he's old. I don't know. He's like in his 80s. He didn't want to. We haven't even talked to him, but unlike I don't know if you guys knew, that we did a episode for my ghost story last year for Graber Olive House out here, and we put that on the paranormal map, which is really good. That's what we wanted to do, and so that Graber Olive House out here in Ontario is way active, but in a good way. But just they're not shy. They don't care. Again, but they identify with us. They know who we are. Miss us when we're gone, that kind of thing. It's kind of a weird thing, right? It's like you get these invisible friends and stuff, and then you get to miss them, and then they miss you. It's really strange.
It's kind of like an invisible family reunion.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's exactly it. But we do events there now, and we have, just like any other place that becomes popular. People, the Cliff Graber, the owner, he just turned it over to us because he was getting bombarded with phone calls, of course, after it was on TV. And still is. And so, we're starting up again with the bookings and then people come through. So it's a good feeling that we were able to do that, because that increases, business for them as well, and stuff. So that's cool. I don't know what else you guys want to know. More exciting stuff? I don't know if you're ready for that yet.
Well, I think it's kind of cool. We have locations like that to where when you go there, it tends to call you back. And the more you go back, the more they get to know you. And the more they get to know you, the more activity picks up. And eventually they start calling you by name and giving you a hard time because you haven't been here in a month or so.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing. That's the hardest thing, I think, for some rookie investigators, I can say rookie because rookie just means you're beginning. Doesn't mean you don't care. It just means you're a novice. But that's the hardest thing for them to deal with, is the first time they hear their name mentioned. That's freaky.
Yeah.
Because that's like hearing your name mentioned in a crowd. That's like hearing your name mentioned in a crowded train depot or a bus depot or whatever. Or any kind of crowded situation, to hear your name just above and beyond what's already out there,
Yeah, that's that. I mean, it's true initially. Yeah, but see, everywhere I go, they say my name. I don't know. I think that I'm just this special pawn or something on the other side. For the other side, I don't know what it is, but yeah. But they all call my name. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So yeah, so I'm pretty much used to it. But yeah, for the most part. And one thing too, I want to. Like I've been doing this for so long, and I'm used to it and the stuff that I do, and I've never really been a big believer of the spirit box and what have you. I was on the fence for a very long time with it, and it wasn't until a good friend of ours, Harvey Althouse, who is a remote viewer, he did use one out like in rural Iowa, right? So like you don't have a lot of radio signals and stuff. Probably 0, maybe 1, I don't know. But anyway, and he ended up, communicating with his dead brother-in-law. And it was pretty cool, and it convinced me that the video, another video, that one's actually on our site too. very, very impressive. So anyway, I believe, but I still didn't really have experiences. Like Scott, he's had his name called, or his mother's name and stuff like that when he was been in like the Granada Theater over here and a few years back and whatever. But I never really had anything. I mean, even here in their house, I guess they said my name. I wasn't even here, you know. But anyway, but like again, back to the speed store place, we used it there for like what 3 minutes, and I'm like, oh, I am done. I'm out. Because I there's so many radio signals out here. I hate trying to decipher through all that. Like, is this human? Is this not human? And it's just annoying me. But when I reran my audio back, well, actually we shut it off, and then the phone thing started happening. The ghost starts calling the phone.
Right.
Very strange, very scary.
We'll get into that in a few minutes.
But anyway, then after that, I ran through my audio, you know, all of this, the stuff that I had pulled things clear as a bell that would have. It's weird because it's like the spirit box was on, but you know we didn't hear it and we were there. It wasn't until later, of course, through reviewing my audio that it was there. So I don't know, did they really come through the box or were they just using that energy? And it's like these are questions that I have. I mean, it's like I want to understand how any of it works. I don't care how it works. I do, but you know, it's just that it's so cool. But just to know for everybody else too, like the skeptics and stuff like that, because you can't really. It's incredibly scientific, and you know what? They know that too. There's some spirits they know what we're doing.
I was actually talking with a good friend of mine, Abel Garcia, last night on another show that I do here on our network, and we got to talking, and we were kind of both came to the mutual agreement that it's going to take somebody from this generation of ghost hunters, to pass away, go to the other side, and come back and talk and tell them, hey, it's going to be this frequency range. You're going to need to do this, this, and this. Unless, of course, it's like Beetlejuice and there's a handbook and you might become a public service if you did that. Whatever. I'm just saying.
Or get your head shrunk.
Right, or get your head shrunk.
Right.
I'm just like I said. That we kind of agreed on that because right now there's so many variables. You know, there's so many theories out there about what it could be, and you can't discount any of it because none of it's been proven yet.
Well, exactly. That's true.
It's like we say, though, I mean, as far as we've come, we haven't even come far at all.
Right. Yeah.
I agree.
But on that note, real quick, as far as the communication and them explaining, I on the front page of the website when you guys go, people, I have to say it. No.
Scroll down.
Last time we were at Graber, and we had an event there. There was a lot of people there, right? And this girl was taking pictures with her cell phone. And she says, and so I was behind her, and she says, oh, well, what is this? And so I was explaining to her what it was on her, what I thought, right, she had on the screen. Well, then I had my recorder going. So I'll play back on all that audio. After I'm explaining to her, the ghost, he says to me, he says, hey, partner, that's a life beat. Just like I said it to you. He's like, hey, partner, that's a light beat. And I'm like, well, what the hell is that? So now he's telling me exactly what I'm looking at on the camera, and or the phone. And he said something else before that. He used another term too. But I'm like, that to me is different than just a regular EVP. I mean, as good as it is, I don't care. It was right. Perfect. It was but see, he's telling me something. He goes, what you're looking at is a light beat. And the other one was, before that, he's called it a light beam. So a light beam and a light beat. Well, what does that mean to me? And what do we use, or what do they use to communicate to us? They use energy and they use noise. Whether it be, all different kinds of, electricity could be considered light. You know what I'm saying? It's just, so I found that pretty amazing. I even sent that to Barry Fitzgerald, and he's ignoring me right now. I don't know what the hell that's about, but
I'm not ignoring you. He's a busy man.
I know he's busy, but I thought maybe we could talk about that. So I'll have to try to see if
it's not,
maybe.
The one issue that I've had with skeptics in the past, especially, they'll believe it when they see it and they hear that a ghost can knock on something. That's PK. That's psychokinesis.
Yep.
Okay, that's energy moving things.
Exactly.
That's why when you guys mentioned, I wasn't really shocked to hear when you guys said that they had started calling you, because that is something that has been reported. It more and more now, because more and more people have cell phones, that they're actually communicating back through there. But if they can move a penny, or move enough air to cause a knock, on a wall, then it's not such a great stretch to think that they can manipulate the inside workings of a silicon chip, which to me would seem like it'd be much easier. It's a much smaller part.
And that's how we feel about it.
Yeah, right. To me, that's not a huge stretch. With the ITC, I get a little. I'm like you, Marco. I'm a little on the fence. I've heard some very, very compelling evidence, but then I'm also on the mindset too that you can set a frequency tracker right next to it and see exactly what frequency is going off as it's going through. So, I'm up in the air.
Twilight Zone.
Well, yeah, there is that.
We were in an area much like you were just describing, to where if they had one radio tower, we were lucky, and we were running a hack box, and it would start scanning, and all of a sudden it would stop. But every time it would stop, it stopped on the Talking Tina episode from the Twilight Zone.
That's my favorite episode.
Yeah. Well, it became Eric's too, because we kept trying to run it, and it kept stopping there, and he went in the other room for a break. And when it started scanning again, he just started screaming from the other room, "Bring back Talking Tina! I'm not done!"
It was at the good part where Shatner gets beat up or whatever. I mean, come on. Give me a break. But I mean, that was our first exposure to ICC. So like I said, I'm kind of like you. I've even been mentioning some very compelling things. I mean, my nickname is the Yeti, and I have some audio around from a Ghost Box session where they ask, who is the person that's here now that wasn't here the last time our group came up here? And it scans for about a minute and 10 or 15 seconds, and you hear Yeti.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's cool. That's probably not a coincidence, right?
Well, you hope, but you don't know. That's the thing. Right. It's so great.
That's the variable. I mean, it could be matrixing with your ears.
Exactly.
But you also have to take into consideration it was rural.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that word. Missouri, where we haven't had a Bigfoot sighting since '77, so Yetis aren't really mentioned.
Yeah, they call them Momo.
Yeah, it's called Momo, not Yeti.
Yeah, or Red Eye, and so it's not. That's what I'm saying. To have that those syllables come out like that, is it cool to me because it could mean something to me? Well, sure. Scientifically, would I ever consider it data? Or it's data collected, but would I ever consider it evidence? You know, it's kind of tough.
It's a word.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of equipment do you guys favor? Just so we know, do you guys have any particular brands or favorites, or do you have a special audio recording setup you use, or?
Well, for audio, for me, I just have a regular Sony, run of the mill. I have a Zoom, and it's okay, but and the clarity is so incredibly clear when you're recording stuff, but I don't hardly ever use it. So, I'm just so old school, right? And that's just what I'm comfortable with. That's what I prefer to use as far as the audio goes. And then, myself, I have a Nikon, just something like, but anyway, but
we have all the gadgets and gizmos and everything that they use on TV.
Right. Yeah.
But still, where we capture our evidence from is from just old school, just with a camera and a digital recorder.
Yeah. I like the REM pods because they're very cool with the lights. Okay. Yeah. But other than that, we got everything.
We have the K2s, the millimeters, REM pods, static pods. We have all that stuff. DVR systems, night vision cameras, Go cameras. We have it all.
And it's just all a bunch of stuff.
Well, we capture stuff. We use a shadow detector.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And also recently, Scott's been shooting a lot more in full spectrum, and he's gotten some pretty compelling stuff. Okay, he has a picture of Jesus Christ, for God's sakes. Not kidding. The Shroud of Turin. Have you seen it?
We've I've seen the Shroud of Turin. I don't believe I've seen Scott's picture.
It looks just like
it. You got to see the picture he took. It looks just like it. And ironically enough, it superimposed itself on top of
Santa Claus.
It was a doorway with a plastic piece of paper with Santa Claus printed on it, and it's I thought that was a little ironic, but it's very very cool.
He's taking his day back.
Yeah,
Right?
Jesus making a statement that night. I'm telling you, but it's an incredible photo. It's 3D. I can't explain it. Can't give. It's definitely Jesus Christ. You guys got to take a look at that.
He's like, hey, I was here first. Move over, fat boy.
Well, you could. It's like the one that Tim Raycorn took of you at the hospital too.
Yeah.
We have a full spectrum picture, and it looks as if, because Kim attracts children.
Okay.
Well,
I'm a big play baby, so I guess it's
that have
just
passed,
automatic.
children that have passed on. We've actually had them
That's a
follow.
cool problem, though.
That is cool.
But there's actually a full spectrum picture that looks like there was a toddler placed on her lap.
You can see a different color, like infant sleeper. You can make out the arm, the hand, the head, the leg hanging
it's
off the
bizarre.
side of the chair, the whole 9 yards, and there was no baby in that chair with me. I was sitting there rocking back and forth in a wheelchair, eating goldfish crackers and drinking water and talking to Eric and a bunch of them.
Wow.
That's cool. I'd like to see that one. That sounds good. I like that.
But I mean, I think full spectrum is, people are getting away from the infrared because I just don't think that frequency range is where it's at. I really don't. Personally.
Right.
I think if they're within a frequency range, their energy, it's going to be above ours. It's not necessarily going to be below ours.
Yeah.
So what have you guys got brewing that you can tell us about and not get in trouble?
Well, we can kind of tell you, beat around the bush with it.
Yeah. Well, you want to do it? Should I give you a turn, or you want to?
Come
do it?
on,
go ahead.
Scott.
He's gonna let me talk. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
go ahead. I'm just giving Scott a hard
Oh.
time now.
Okay. Okay. Well, we will be shooting a pilot for a major network for a show that obviously, if the pilot, takes off, then it'll be taking a place of the show in the fall.
And we'll be plastered all over your TVs.
So there you have
Get a
it.
good look at us now.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be a really good thing if that happens, because we hate Home Depot. Okay, so any Home Depot lovers out there, I'm sorry, but at least not this one. So we really want to get out of that.
And then we've also been working for a major motion picture company as advisors on a movie they're doing.
Which we can't mention either, of course. You never can.
Yeah.
But,
You always have to sign your life away.
Right.
But I won't say anything.
yeah. So I mean, it's an animated film. I can tell you that. That's all I can say right now. But I think it takes, and it's, it takes 3 years. Well, it'll be another 2 years, 2.5 before it's out. I guess obviously, clearly it takes longer to make an animated film. I guess because you got to manipulate everybody. I don't know.
Every frame has to be fixed or changed or Well, hey,
So-
that's awesome, guys. Hey, and best of luck, because I know it's tough out there.
Yeah, it is, and it is. Yeah, it's cool. It's a good thing. So we're hoping for the best for that. So we'll be filming that, I guess, in about a week. Yeah. And what? Oh, anyway.
And when it happens, we'll come back and do another interview for you after first season.
Right.
Awesome,
Right.
awesome.
I'm holding you to it.
We'll hold you to it. Hey, and you guys can on your banner when you get your show, at the bottom of your banner, you can say "as seen first on PEN."
Okay. Let me write that down. All right. Sure.
It's kind of a running joke right now because
Yeah.
at one of the conventions, someone had this huge banner, and on the bottom of it, it said "as seen on YouTube."
And we're like, really?
Oh.
Really?
Really? Okay. That's cool.
I mean, I'm
That's
glad they're
cool.
proud of that. I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
because you have to give the paranormal community that much. The paranormal community has kept the business card people, the banner people,
T-shirts.
the T-shirt people, the coffee mug, all of the
Monster drinks.
Monster drinks, several coffee brands. Our community has kept those industries above water, even in the worst of times.
See? Look at there.
There it is. And I showed you this already.
Oh yeah.
See?
But all you need is sponsored by Maxwell House.
No, that's
Maxwell.
my sponsor.
Yeah. Or Folgers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can have Folgers. Maxwell House is mine.
Starbucks. No, that'll never
Columbia
happen.
or
No.
Columbus.
Columbus. Columbus Coffee. Very small iced drink, like that, but coffee. Very small company. God knows where they are.
Hard to find.
Yeah, I would like them to sponsor us, but they won't answer me right now, so we'll see.
I have to ask you guys this: when you started out, do you guys do mostly structural, historical type investigations now, or do you do client-based stuff, or
Residential.
Residential type stuff with people still living there, or
right? Well, we're kind of open to everything. Personally, we like to do the more commercial, bigger pieces of property because we just get so much stuff. We've done a handful of residentials, and we don't come out empty-handed, but we really just don't get a lot like we do in the bigger places. And
like an aircraft carrier.
Right, exactly. Like the Hornet. Well, yeah, but just, but we prefer, but we also do, like you said, we prefer the historical older home. And that's, that's where we live. We live, like Scott's house was built in 1912. This one right here. All the old stuff. We just love old stuff. We just,
it's got to have a history.
Yeah. And because what's going to happen is, of course, the older it is, the more history there's going to be, the more you're going to find. And then it becomes, like this feed store thing. I mean, if we could take the time, we could probably dig up a whole lot of stuff, of people that used to be there and what have you, and things that have happened. Then it becomes a big story.
Well, that's like Lebanon.
Yeah.
Right.
Digging that stuff up, a lot of times you can find some amazing stuff. Cynthia and I in the room, we had investigated an antique store in Lebanon, Texas a couple times. Tennessee. And we went digging around into the archives and stuff and found out there was the people who actually owned the property to begin with. It was a general store, and he was murdered and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and then when you still go in, and the lady that's behind the counter in the records office is 70+ years old.
Yes, and telling you buildings didn't exist that
yeah.
are in the history, and you need to research your family and get out of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, don't start worrying about your own family. Don't worry about what happened here. And she's got to be second generation from when all this happened, because the story being real quick. The story being the boy that had murdered the owner of this former location, when it was a general store, turned out to be a 20-year-old 16-year-old mulatto, basically of mixed race, back in the
1886.
Was convicted of murder twice. Both times he showed up on the census 10 years later.
He never went to prison. And in 1886 in Middle Tennessee,
yeah,
they wouldn't have put up with that. They'd have hung him the first 10 minutes.
So who was his dad? Which, once again, what are they trying to protect? And I mean, that just shows how, prejudices and ignorances get covered up and continue for years.
But it also shows that if you do go and dig deep enough, you can find some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
I was going to ask you guys, do you have a historian that does that for you guys?
We do.
Yes, we do.
Yes. And she's fabulous.
Yeah. They really, truly are the key to this.
Yes, absolutely. She runs a little museum called Cooper Museum in Upland. And, she pretty much, she was born and raised here in this area, and she just knows a lot of stuff. And basically, and if she doesn't know, she'll find out. But, yeah, and she's funny because she goes, well, it's over here about 5 steps down there and around the corner and southeast. And I'm like, what?
Go to the third rock and make a left.
Yeah, I'm like, Maryland, that means nothing to me. I said, But yeah, it's very cool, and she's pretty much anytime we want to know something about any piece of property, we just go to her, and she pretty much knows what it is.
Also, funny how you get so much validation from that too.
Right.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That and the man that's on right here in the chat room, Harvey, our remote viewer.
Oh, is Harvey in there? Right on.
Hi, Harvey.
And in case you're wondering, Hoochie Lips is Mark.
And he said if you ever call him that, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Hoochie Lips Mark.
Hoochie Lips Mark. That kind of fits him a little bit.
It does.
Yeah. I can see that.
What's up, Mark?
Yeah. But, and then that's another thing real quick, too. Harvey, working with a remote viewer is an incredible
experience.
Yes. Every single time. And you know, he does us some stuff on the side, you know, of our own person, you know, and he just, like, he amazes people.
He works with other groups besides us.
But we love him the most.
Yeah, we like to claim him.
That is exactly why he is a part of a side part of Darklands, and he will be for the rest of his life.
I'm going to have him type his website in
do that,
the
Harvey.
chat room.
Go for
He's
it.
Amazing man.
Go for it.
Very amazing. I mean, I didn't even know what a remote viewer was. A lot of people still don't. You know, until Harvey came around, and you know, just incredible. I don't know.
Well, how do you guys? I'm going to ask this because I mean, not to instigate an argument or anything, but how do you guys feel about the metaphysical side of what's concerned with this? Do you guys have any opinions about that? Other than the fact that everybody that has a Facebook account is now a medium or a psychic or a sensitive?
Right. Okay, so you mean, in other words, in the fact, just as far as like something that Harvey does, as far as that goes, what do I?
Right, yeah. Do you have an opinion? I mean, do you think it's going to take teamwork between the sides to get further us along? Do you think it's going to be like a metaphysical discovery or a scientific discovery, or?
I kind of think I don't know if it's all going to be at one time, but it's going to take all of those things. It's going to be science and you know, in general, metaphysical type. I mean, I mean, so many people just don't even. That's what. Okay, for instance, I mean, I'm a huge skeptic when it comes to mediums and psychics and people like that. And it just, I mean, I'm sensitive, and that's one thing, and that's fine. But like, you know, no, I can't tell anybody anything about what's going to happen tomorrow. I see things sometimes, and I think I'm not in tune. But anyway, the point is that, you know, like, you know, these people that go on Facebook or have, like you said, Facebook accounts or their own websites, and how about those chain letters they used to send? They tell you, send me $1 million, well, not $1 million, but send me $200 today, and I'll tell you this. And it's like, I can't believe the stuff that you know, how these people try to make money. But I'm leery about that. And when you meet the real people that can really do this kind of stuff, I mean, you know, I had to be proven to me too that it's kind of a mind blower. Yeah. And metaphysical is all that is about as far as like a remote viewer. I still really can't fathom it. But
well, if I'd have kept all the money I'd ever been promised from the Nigerian bank accounts or the UK bank accounts, man, dude, I'd maybe Bill Gates would be shaking around me.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean,
but the metaphysical does have its place, though.
No, it does.
It truly does, because here's what I say: we haven't always had the scientific side. The metaphysical side of things has been around for thousands of years. If it was so easily debunked and excusable, it would have faded away a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Right. You know, but it's stuck around. Why is it stuck around? Why? Because it's still a viable option. It's still a viable option to explain phenomena that we can't with our meager scientific abilities.
Well, and the metaphysical can't be used as evidence, but you can use people in the metaphysical side to point you in the directions to possibly get evidence.
It's true. That's true. Like, Kim is a dowser. My wife is a dowser. And when we'll go into a location, she'll do a walkthrough and dowse it, and we'll actually place static recorders. We'll ask the spirits that are there, where should we place the static recorders, and they'll lead us to spots. We've had a very high percentage of results, like 80% plus, where we've been told to place things. We've gotten some sort of data or some sort of evidence that we can't explain from that placement. And when it starts getting to be that higher percentage, you start kind of going, okay, I get it. You know. You don't have to hit me in the forehead more than once with the 2x4. I get it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. That was something else I wasn't sure how I felt about dowsing rods either. But I've been proven now to me. But before, you know, so I mean, I have learned a lot along the way, just, you know, in a short period of time. Mm-hmm. With that, with myself, you know, thinking, oh, that's for finding water, you know, whatever, you know. But it's been proven to me, you know, since then. And there's just so many ways to communicate out there. But I mean, I understand skeptics is like, you know, usually, if, you know, people want to experience something for themselves before they believe it. I mean, that makes perfect sense. So that just goes back to credibility. You know, some people have it and some people don't. And But I figure we just keep doing what we're doing. Hopefully we, you know, me and Scott hope to one day be a part of, you know, proof that beyond a shadow of doubt, you know, in this field, you know, more and more for more people to actually believe it that don't.
Well, and I'm pretty sure you guys have gotten to the point that Kim and I have, to the point to where we have a very small group of people that we care about what they think. The whole great big other circle of people, I'm not asking you, so I don't really care what you have to say. If I want to know, I'll ask you. And I'm thick-skinned enough to take the beating that I'm going to get when I do that, because I know that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But there's a whole bunch of people. Yeah. I don't have to prove it. I've proved it to myself. I don't need to prove it to anybody else. And I know that sounds a little arrogant, but you almost have to be that way, because if you try to please everybody in this field, you're going to go nuts.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, we've already been down that road, and it's like, but the more we do it, because I've been so pissed off before about people questioning photos and stuff, and you know, they'll get all the attitudes and stuff, and you know, and God, we had this photo that Scott took at Graber Olive House that, you know, it's me and another guy standing on the steps going up to the loft, and at first I didn't see what really is there either. A lot of people didn't see it, but anyway, the whole picture's like blurred in a very bizarre way, but just us, not anything else around it, you know. And then upon closer inspection, there's actually a ghost standing behind this other guy. Well, that picture was crucified, you know, for a while, and then, you know, it was this big debate on Facebook, and then other groups were coming in that don't even know us. They're like, well, I agree with Darklands, you know. And then this other guy just kept trying, pushing. You know, said, oh, that's time delay and all this kind of crap. And we're like, what? But anyway, so he actually ended up going out to Graber for one of the events, and he was telling people he was going to recreate it. But he was bound and determined he was going to make that same kind of photo happen. Well, he never heard another word, because apparently he couldn't do it because it can't be done. So, yeah, you know, it's just, like you said, it's a circle of people that you care about their opinion, which we're the same way. But it's hard sometimes if people sit there and just start mouthing off, and it's like, the first thing was like, well, you weren't even there. How can you even see? I mean, you know. That's right. I won't do that. We do not do that. We will not go and look at someone's photo and go, well, that's a pile of shit. How can you, you know, I wasn't there. Right. Even if I don't, you know, if I don't know, I mean, I wasn't. I just don't think anybody, I don't know how people think they can have the right to talk about stuff if you weren't there. You know?
But
anyway.
But Marco, if they draw a red circle around it or put an arrow, then it must be true.
Yeah, it has to be.
Well, no, you're right.
I want that attachment for my camera that'll automatically circle it when I take the picture.
Or put the little arrows.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway.
But you know, that's something that a lot of people get a little antsy when you start talking about, is integrity. And it's really, it truly, when in this field, you really only have your name. You know,
right?
If you go to putting a bunch of stuff out there that is so easily that you can tell that it's doctored, you know, or it's so questionable, or you get very defensive every time somebody critiques it. You know, why don't be public about what you do. You know, that's the best advice.
We have a saying that we use for this, and that saying is, for a believer, no proof is necessary. For a non-believer, no proof is possible.
Right.
That's right.
It is, yeah.
I agree.
There it is.
Marco sucks at circles.
Thanks.
Whatever that is.
Who said that? What? I'm sorry.
That means Marco can't draw the circles around things.
I don't draw circles. What the hell is that? His wife's a circle. I think the circles are perfect.
I had to mark how to do it.
They're computer animated circles, right? So yeah.
We do arrows now too. So.
Yeah, we have had an arrow lately.
Arrow.
Yeah, that was that. Yeah, same place the arrow came from. Yeah, but not. Yeah. So.
Another quick question for you guys: have you guys had a chance to do anything? I know we've had a lot of groups that have come on in the last several months, and one thing we've really started noticing, it kind of brightens the cockles of my crusty, furry old heart. There have been a lot of teams that have been able to give back, to help out around. Are you guys able to do any of that? I know working full time, it's impossible sometimes.
Right.
But do you guys try to give back to the community and help out and like paranormal kicks cancer and that kind of stuff that's been going on? Have you guys had a chance to help with any of that?
Well, we so far, we donated, or we raised some money for a feral cat rescue. How's that? Is that
that's awesome? No, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Well,
exactly.
Well, the Paracon we're putting on, part of the proceeds of that go to Pack Ethics Rescue Inc.
Yeah.
So it's all about helping out the animal rescues.
Yeah, just because like with Kim and I, just because we're the weird couple walking around in the graveyard, doesn't mean we don't care about the community. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And we also did a presentation for the Historical Society.
Yes. Mm-hmm. They were very excited that we were there.
That's one reason why a lot of historical locations you've started to see more and more pop up on tours, paranormally based tours. It generates foot traffic for these locations, and in these days and times, they have to have the people coming through the door paying. Even most of them it's a meager ticket price, $2-3, but they have to have that just to stay open and keep the place safe for people to walk around in. And
excuse me, some teams are even going to old dilapidated cemeteries and just
cleaning them up, weed eating, cleaning up.
Yeah, going in and mowing.
We just think it's important. We just think it's important that everybody gets a chance to mention the stuff that they do because it is important, an important part of being part of the not only the paranormal community, air quote that, but the community.
Right. I agree.
Because if we're going to go out there and investigate the spirits, we might as well make their living quarters a little more decent as far as cleaning up a cemetery or just weed eating the thing, just picking up trash or something.
And if you've noticed, a lot of the groups that do that kind of stuff, you get better evidence. And gee, I wonder why that is. I wonder if that's because they know you're there for the right reason.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
We can't. That's one thing. The one thing about the infotainment sometimes, and I'd like both of your opinions on this one. When it comes to the infotainment, and that's what I call the shows, like with the Valiant Plumbers and the Triumphant Trio. When it comes to the infotainment shows, I hate stupid ghost tricks. If and when, and heaven forbid it happens anytime soon, that I pass away, if somebody asks me to knock once, I'll knock. If they ask me to knock again, I'm knocking whatever they're holding in their hand out of their hand.
There you go. Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think it's rare anyway, for how many investigations do you go on before you actually get something physical? Like I said, I get audio all day long and all night long, it's pictures, but it's those experiences that are personal experiences that physical that is just for us, and I like you say, I know they probably do get pissed off when you keep asking them to do something over and over again, but when they feel like doing it, they do it, and when you can witness it, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, to me, if you tell them, hey, knock on the wall if you don't want us here, and if you don't want us here, we'll leave, and they knock on the wall. Okay, I heard you knock. Can you do it again for validation?
Yeah, right.
And then they do it again. Okay, one more time. Okay, you said if I knocked once, you were out of here.
Yeah.
I like when they say, if you do it one more time, we'll leave.
Right.
Well, and what I'm surprised at is a lot of them say, don't touch this person, but you can push or scratch me if you want to. I'm surprised they haven't waited till they've been closer to stairs when they've done it.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Kim phrased it very, very nicely about a year ago. If you were going to go in there and these were your family members, these would be your great grandparents or your great 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 grandparents. So you need to have, as far as we're concerned, you should treat them with that respect.
Well, and there was no CPS back then. Grandma, you talk nasty to grandma or great grandma, they're taking a skillet to your head.
Yeah.
They're not worrying about the police showing up.
Yeah.
That's right.
The police would probably actually hold you down while they beat you.
Right?
Yeah. but I'm just saying there's a certain level of respect that should go with what we do, and I think the groups that do that get the best evidence. Those that go in there trying to be like the infotainment are the ones that are like, they're the ones that get burned out after 2 or 3 years, because there's only so long you can go sit in a dirty basement and collect 10 or 12 hours of audio that you have to go back and spend the next 2 weeks trying to listen to, and you get nothing because you were basically trying to argue with the darkness while you were there.
True.
You know, and I don't get that. Whereas you can walk in, be there just to communicate, you know, and then you start talking, ask them what their favorite food is. That's been a great instigator for us. And Marco, I know you had your issues with talking about sex, but sex is also another topic that generates a lot of responses.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
absolutely.
The spirit world has potty mouth.
Yeah.
Well,
and then, like I said before, I literally have just a folder of just sexual EVPs because there's so many. And sure, you know, if you're gonna be a little enticing, you know, they're gonna just keep on. I mean, of course, I had to experiment. I mean, how are you gonna get the answers right? But no, not, you know, it didn't start that way. But yeah, they certainly are more than happy. Not all of them, but they're there. They're waiting. I've decided that they're all voyeurs. You know, they're just they for some reason they like bathrooms. I don't know. So yeah, but
well, I'm
but
just
listen,
saying,
I want to.
People need to not be afraid to experiment. They need to not be able to try new things. They need to know that they can do that. You know.
Right. They should know that. I mean, it can be fun. I don't think Scott hasn't probably known. I don't think he's tried to have sex with a ghost, but
no, I got scratched across the face by one.
Yeah, he did.
And then I got attached.
Well, that's just rough sex, Scott. That's all.
Yeah, he's had the bad things, the scratches. He's had the attachment removed, and see, I get all the good stuff. So that's the way it works. You know, they're just more attracted to me in that way. That's all I was doing. All right. Anyway, so
I have a wife. So
I have a wife too. That's all right. I was asked early on about that. You know, is it like, you know, cheating on your wife? No, I can't. You can't see them. I mean, I'm just okay. Enough of that.
As Scott G says, here's the guy who has sex and his partner who takes the pictures.
That is not true. Not even close. That's not. Grunwald would like for that to be true, but no, that's definitely not true. But I have a question for you guys. Back to the So Said shows.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are you guys as bored as everyone else with the majority of ghost hunting? You know,
they were
entertainment.
Well, I
quit.
I watch them off and on, not all the time, but I do watch them off and on for locations. Just because I think the locations, some of them are like really super cool. But but every week, you know, one program always gets a demonic attachment and has to bring in a priest to do an exorcism. This other one, every single week they get exactly 3 EVP and 2 photos. I mean, really?
Well, I think the misinformation that they put out is more detrimental to this quote unquote field than anything. They're part of the reason why people have gotten hurt. They're part of the reason why people have gotten disinterested in this. We've probably had very brilliant people that got involved in this but got disinterested in it because they didn't put any more thought into it than doing what they saw on TV, which means they were just repeating. They didn't put any free thought into it.
Right. Well, and I agree with that all, but also just, you know, just asking people in general, and it comes up enough where just the stuff that they're putting out there right now, and I don't watch hardly any of it. Number one, I don't have time, okay? Mm-hmm. And number two, I'm very disinterested in a lot of the stuff that's out there. I mean,
I watch it.
Yeah, well, Scott, you know, he takes them all, and if something's interesting, he lets me know. And like you were saying, Kim, there are, that's one good reason to watch them is like locations, because it's like, wow, that's really cool, and stuff like that.
And the new equipment that they're using.
Yeah, and the equipment and everything. Right. But like as far as the people go, the personalities, we and Scott hope that this pilot flies, and then we're going to hopefully want to give people what they want to see is basically, and then realistically.
Yeah.
I mean, evidence and personalities that people can identify with and get in touch with, and not, being boring as hell like some of them are and falling asleep. Most people fall asleep.
Yeah.
Okay. For some of the shows, if you don't want me to say which ones, that's okay.
Don't say.
I won't say, because you never know who's listening.
Or what network we're going to be on.
Exactly. Well, right. I mean, we do know, but we don't want to. So, no, I was just curious because.
Yeah, no, and they're part of the reason why we started our own network, because we're trying to get the proper information out to people. We're trying to let people know that it can be dangerous.
Well, and to their defense, we have met quite a few of
Yes, we
them.
have. And in person, they're great people.
Some of them are absolute angels. Love them to death. There are a few, though, and I won't mention any names, that, if...
Douche nozzle.
Yeah, that's a good word. That's a good word.
But
no, that's true.
If a bus left them in the desert, then, hey, so be it.
Yeah. And they ran out of hair gel, but I didn't say that.
Okay. Yeah. And then of course there's production. There's, and we've met a few people ourselves, and
We've met a lot of them.
well, a lot, but yeah. And you like some you don't, but
Right.
again, well, I guess we shouldn't get into that. Forget it. We'll go next
I'm just
topic.
saying-
please.
Well, it would be like anybody else, though. I mean, we can meet a large group of people anywhere. I mean, in the mall, in a school, or whatever, and there's always a few that we would rather
Right.
be left out in the desert by a bus.
Let's leave it at this. One of the most popular reality TV shows that's on right now is Duck Dynasty.
I love Duck Dynasty.
Correct?
Funny.
Now,
See, I haven't even seen it. I
okay.
haven't seen it.
Now, Duck Dynasty does show guys out in the middle of a swamp, blowing stuff up, shooting firearms. Okay, but they follow very strict safety rules. They talk about the safety rules when they're on there. Okay, that's the one thing that none of these guys on any of the infotainment shows and the paranormal talk about. The closest thing that I have to get, and as much as it pains me to say this, that I have to give Zach Baggins credit for, is he does wear a respirator. In fact, we've been involved. We've had Shane Harris. In fact, he will be back on this Sunday again to talk about his event in Ohio. The gentleman that lost his wife, and on the East Coast that from being exposed to the bat guano. That's a very real thing. I mean, this man's going through a lot because of something that could have been prevented by a 35-cent nuisance mask.
Yeah.
But nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about some of the structures that they've been into. We've been into structures behind some of the shows that people have no business going into, but they never mentioned how dangerous they were on the show.
Well, and they go to, the haunted railroad, but they don't mention, hey, it's still running. Can you check a railroad schedule? Make sure you're not on the trestle when the train comes through. We've lost somebody in the field because of that.
I just wish that the shows cared as much about getting out the safety part of it as they did about worrying about whether they were going to find a demon in the middle of Ohio next week.
Right.
Asbestos, holes in the floors of taking people.
But they don't ever talk about that kind of stuff. That's the stuff that people, if you cared about the people that are going to mimic you, if you were a good shepherd of the sheep, you would make sure these people knew that. And that's all I got to say about that.
All right. There you go.
How can you not like Duck Dynasty? Uncle Si rocks, Bobcat.
I've never seen it, so I have no opinion.
Oh, it's
What's
good.
Honey?
It's happy. Everybody is happy.
Now, Honey Boo Boo, I know what that is.
Oh no!
Oh
no!
I've never seen it. I've just heard people, but see, people like that. See, I haven't seen it.
I like it. I think it's hysterical. He can't stand it.
I feel my IQ drop when I watch Honey Boo Boo.
Now, I think I'd be the same way, just based on what I've heard about it.
I didn't say it made me more intelligent. I said it's entertaining.
Well, I cannot argue that with you.
Little chunky girl, like 5, and she's like I don't know.
Toddlers and tiaras.
Yeah, she started on.
She does beauty pageants.
My neighbor's kids.
True.
But like they made spaghetti out of butter and ketchup.
Yeah, they're just like real
It's trash and rednecks is what it's doing. It's making fun of
Yes,
rednecks.
sums it
Let's
up.
just
I guess
say
right
it.
there.
Let's just say it. You know what? And we've kind of come to the end of this, guys. I need to know where can everybody find you guys?
I'm putting it up right now.
Okay, he's putting it up.
Well, while he's typing, you talk.
For those of you that have not photographic, just memories in general, because I know everybody's going to run into the. There's going to as soon as you go off the air, everyone's going to go right. So it's
Sure.
It's just darklandsparanormal.webs.com, and Scott's typing that in, and you can check out. Like we have I don't know, God knows, 43 albums of photos, different places.
Some awesome photos and awesome audio.
And the audio just loads scads. You just gotta, and people be smart, because we have people telling us, well, I don't know how to find this stuff, and it's like, okay, I mean,
read the menu.
Yeah, I mean, you open up the homepage, there's tabs, just click a tab and do your job. Just go for it. More specific stuff for audio. But anyway, that's it. If anybody gives a crap and wants to read my book, that
I already put that up too.
Oh, okay, yeah. You can
Paranormal Noise, Marco Santucci, available on Amazon.
Yeah, and other places, but that's
Kindle.
Yes, and you know what? Kindle's like $3.99. You can't get any cheaper than that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
And for anybody else, go to Facebook, look up their name, click about, and there's their website. All their information under their about.
Is it? I haven't done that.
Yeah,
I haven't done that myself. Oh, okay.
You're both on Facebook. I mean, there's always an about somewhere that's got a link somewhere.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, of course we have our own pages, but Darklands has a page too, so you people need to go like it. Yeah, Darklands has its own page.
You will Twitter.
Yeah, well.
Mark, can you put up the Twitter for us, please?
Yeah.
Or Coochie Lips.
Coochie Lips?
Yeah. Type up the Twitter address, please. Since I don't know what it is, since we just got it.
But we appreciate you guys having us on.
Oh, our pleasure.
Even though the photo was only of Scott, but I'm okay now.
Well, to my defense, I did go spam it right before the show.
Okay, that's cool.
And I did put everybody's name on there.
But you were the surprise guest, Marco.
Yep, it was. Okay, that makes me feel
Weren't you surprised?
Yo, yeah, I was surprised, all right. I'm like, what the hell? What happened here?
Well, see, they come in to see Scott, and surprised they get Marco too. It's a twofer. Everybody likes twofers.
You were our ace in the hole, Marco. And I had to make sure I said that very slowly.
I got it. Yeah, okay. All right, well, hopefully next time you talk to us, hopefully you'll a little bit on.
Hey, we're gonna hold. We're holding you guys to that. After the first season, we want you back.
All right. As soon as that happens, you guys will know, and you'll contact us, and we'll go. Oh yeah, okay, sure. No, I'm just kidding. No, we'll do it. All right.
Oh wow. Well, thanks you guys so much, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody, and don't forget to go to the festivals tab on the button above the chat room. Lower Catskills Paracon. Go get your stuff ordered.
Go to the website that's printed underneath it and check it all out. There's all kinds of good stuff, and there are packages available. The packages are only available up to 2 weeks before.
That's correct.
So otherwise, you're paying a la carte.
And with that, I'm going to leave you guys out with a commercial for what we got coming this weekend.
There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn on these lights. Cause all my rider friends goes hunting tonight. That's right. Go get 'em, boys.
And welcome everybody to PEMA TV.
Welcome to January 11th, 2013. This month is already halfway over.
It's just, they pick up speed, I swear they do.
Yep.
Want to thank everybody for coming to join us tonight. Once again, please stalk us. Please use the social media buttons down there below the chat room. Come keep up with everything going on. We do have a whole lot going on. If you click on the festivals tab, you can go read about, find about, buy your tickets, get your sponsor tickets and vendor tables bought for the Lower Catskills Paracon.
There are all kinds of speakers. There are all kinds of people still calling, even though sponsor filled still want to be speakers. All kinds of craziness going on with that.
Yeah, you guys are going to please go check it out. Just right off the top of my head, I know we have Mr. John Tenney. We've got David Roundtree, Tracy Ray,
Patty Zakis,
yes,
Mary Gasparo, Betty Comerford, and Steve Wilson.
Yeah.
And Athena Veronis and Deborah Weinecker.
Very good. You passed your quiz.
I've typed it enough this week. I didn't know exactly who's
I was
where.
fixing to say you really should have known that by now.
And as of a few minutes ago, I think Robin Marie accepted a table. She's not going to be a speaker, but she will be attending.
Yeah, you guys, please check it out. We are doing some different stuff. It'll be standard con fare. The speakers are taking a rotation.
But some of the speakers are doing something completely different.
Or this will be the first time this year that they're doing it. So,
well, this will be the first time some of them are doing it ever.
Yeah.
But Athena Veronis, she was a former FBI, the only female in her department, and she was called in to help mentor Jodie Foster for the role in Silence of the Lambs. Nobody's heard from her yet.
Yep. And she is quite the character.
And our own little Mary Gasparo, who just got her first book published.
Shadow on the wall that looks like a man. Lord, that lamb just moved on that stand. I got movement in the cellars, I got footsteps in the hall. There's no time to waste, I better make some calls. I gotta get ready, make everything right, 'cause all my rowdy friends are ghost hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team, let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mine. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are ghost hunting tonight. This old house has a long history. It should be real good for activity. And we got the house wired for sound and got motion alarms setting all around. Got a box full of batteries ready to go, and everyone's itching to start this show. Got our logo tees, driving black SUVs, and that one bald guy with a slick goatee. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mine. Well, there's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are ghost hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is your big brother Mike.
Published author, yes she is.
So there is all kinds of craziness going on.
More to come. More announcements to come, so stay tight. But tonight on PEMA TV, we are extremely excited to welcome two members of Darklands Paranormal, Mr. Marco Santucci and Scott Ault. And did I butcher anybody's name?
No.
That's why I let him do it, so if it got butchered, it was his fault.
How are you guys doing out there?
Very well.
Excellent.
Is the weather treating you guys okay out there? We were talking about this a little bit before we went on, but weather okay out there?
Yeah, we're having a very cold spell right now.
Cold for California.
Yeah, I saw that. You're actually colder there than we are here, which is really odd.
And weird.
Yeah.
I blame Al Gore.
Exactly, yes. That's got to be the problem.
Well, it's a mixture. It's Al Gore and Scott Grunwald.
Well,
Yeah.
can you guys let our viewers know Darklands Paranormal? When did you guys get started? You know, what are you up to?
You want to take it or what?
No, go for it.
All right. He wants me to talk. Okay. It's been about 2 years is all the time that it's been. We actually met where we work, which is the Home Depot, like anybody cares. But, yeah. He found out I wrote a book about the paranormal, and then we got to talking. We were involved with another group for a very short period of time. That got crazy. Paradrama, women involved. It was a bad thing. And we just broke away from them and just formed ourselves. And we found out that together, him and I together capture, with both audio and photography, capture more than anybody else we know, like all the time. So it works really well for us.
Yeah, that's something Kim and I have figured out too. We tend to get better with just the two of us. We tend to get better evidence that way, and it's all about the energy. I think it's all about the energy you put out. You know.
Well, and
It is.
I think at times it's also easier because if there's only two of you, you know where the two of you are.
That's very true. You don't have to worry about as much contamination because you know who was there and where they were at.
You don't have to go back and go, okay, were you upstairs or, you know, did you say this or did you do that? You know who did what.
Yeah, we like to keep it small. No matter what, it just works out better that way.
Yeah. And there's a whole group of people that you don't have to convince that there's something else out there. They're starting to ask the tougher questions like how, why.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know, and I'm really glad that we're kind of part of that. We don't get to investigate as much as we did because of relocating here recently and my health the year before, but you know, we'll get back out there.
I still do. Yeah. We leave him at home.
So to catch our viewers up a little bit, Marco, how did your book come up to happen?
After my mother's death, because I again, like me as a child as well, they were around me. I knew they were there. I would hear them talking, whatever. But I kind of put it all in the back burner for years and years until my mother had passed away, and she actually was with me, or I met with her somewhere in the middle, and then that was my first experience with, if you want to call it out of body experience or whatever that was. That's what happened. And so after that had happened, I wanted to, I just started digging, started reading a lot, and decided that I wanted to find out what really life and death, because death, it's not black and white like we're taught. A lot of people are taught, especially if you've been into any kind of religion. So I just took 8 months time of research daily, recorded daily. I was lucky enough to work in a store, a huge retail store that I was allowed to film overnight or let the camera run with nobody in the store, and it just was a landslide from there. I mean, after I got evidence actually on video, which we all know is more rare than pictures, then I just started with the audio, and it was just nonstop, and it just went from there. And I had a ghost come home with me back then, and it's just never ends. And it just seems like the more time that goes on, the more the EVPs are just constantly, I don't even put up anything that we consider Class A, maybe Class. And it took me a long time to get to that point to throw stuff out. But there's a lot of stuff I don't keep that's EVPs because they're just not good enough. So and then, like I said, and that's pretty much it. And the book's out there if anybody wants it, you know. So later when we get famous, then everybody will buy it. But, you know, right now, maybe a couple hundred people. I don't know. Maybe more than that, but I'm not. Yeah.
Well, Marco, I know we'd met you. So we talked about this a little before the show too. We'd met you several years ago, right before your book had come out, and we'll talk about that in detail here in a minute. But I wanted to know from Scott, what was your aha moment, Scott? What was your moment when you figured out that you had to research more into this? You had to know more about what was going on.
Well, it started when I was a young child, about 5. I was actually tormented by spirits in the house I lived in, and they would pull the blankets off my bed at night when I was sleeping, yank on my toes, scream in my ear, and it got to a point where I got so upset with it that I started to chase them, and then as a teenager, got a camera and found out that I could actually get pictures of them. So I was doing things on my own for about 20 years till I ran into Marco and found out I can get audio to go with my pictures.
Yep.
Pretty much covers it, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In our experience, we haven't had much luck, audio or video or pictures. Most of our stuff's been audio.
Actually, any of the good video, I've been with Mary.
Yeah, that's true too. But a lot of we have some EVPs that, you know, I know how the skeptics are, and it's a CB overpowering your digital recorder. It's this, it's that, it's 9 million other things. I've got some stuff I can't explain. And
I've got thousands of things, and that's ridiculous for somebody to even suggest that. I mean, especially if it correlates with what you're doing. I mean, what they knew what you were doing when that happened, and you got that audio with, you know, that's just people just not wanting to believe, you know, that it can be done, I guess.
Well, you know, and that's when you get into the whole conversation about, you know, you'll never make a true skeptic believe, and you'll never make a true believer skeptic. You know?
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. We've done it a couple of times, and it's just based people going into our website and seeing the stuff that we capture. I mean, all the time, both audio and photography. You know, and every now and again, someone will challenge, you know, a photo, but it's really rare. So we're lucky, at least right now, that people believe that our integrity is there and that, you know, we're not going to fake anything or what have you. So far, so good.
Well, you know, I'm also of the opinion now that there's a huge crowd some of the tourists are starting to fall off, so to speak, in the paranormal.